Meant to be a brag session. I honestly don't understand it. We're in this arena. As you can see, it's got like a day and a half left to go. You can also see that I have 3 wins with this deck, and I have no idea why. This is the you get 60, you make a 30 card deck. I want to show the deck off in the comments if anyone wants to, say, hey, maybe you just made really good choices, or maybe I'm just playing better than usual. I don't know. So let's bring up what I have. Obviously, it's a 30 card deck. And you see I'm across 4 colors. I don't even have my full 10. I mean, I have 9 of my 10 available zeros. But so I have Avenging Angel, I have Ceasefire, Gold Dragon, Inherence the Meek, Palace Guard. Decent. I wanted to run basically all of those. I'm like, all right, well, I can get 2 of my zeros out of that. Throwing in Paros is acceptable. You can see the fact that it gets a token, and every now and then I get second token. I really don't use the token engine. It's more that it's a 0 cost threat, and 2 bodies are good for blocking. Rescue Griffin is definitely something I like. I like the fact that you have flash, you have ambush, you have airborne. It's a good body to come in and block out of nowhere, even end of turn, put in 3 points to hit him in the air. It's pretty nice. Going over to our evil section. So we have Bitten, pinpoint removal, essence drain, great pinpoint removal. Grave Demon, you want to be able to answer their discard pile. Rax's Displeasure, there's a board wipe. Zombie Apocalypse, board wipe that can be played on their turn. That got me Heinous Feast, which that's not my zeros just weren't good. I think I can't remember. Like my other zeros like Dark Knight, and I might get criticism for not running Dark Knight. But when you see the rest of us, you're like, yeah, this wasn't really a Dark Knight deck. This is not an aggressive deck. This is much more of a control, mid-range is a slower deck, put down a threat, win through some chip damage. Deadly Raid, I see this card, I'm playing this card more and more, and you'll see why. It could be a nice closer, but almost every time it's in my opener, I'm drawing 2 cards, because in many of your 30 card games, you will see your first 5 to 10 banishes by the end of the game. So cycling this early is not bad. Erratic Research, same thing as the Grave Demon. Got to empty out their discard pile. Lying in Wait, you catch people with this all the time. They bank on one Draka or a Juggernaut. The fact that it doesn't target means you can take out Sea Titan, you can take out Steel Golem. Then, especially because you're not getting a random 30, this is somewhere between constructed and in the random 30s. So this does I never turn this into 2 cards. Memory Spirit brings stuff back. The fact that it has ambush, it does some work. It does some lifting. It does some damage, and it will bring back some. You'll see I have a lot of events that I want to see a second time or third time. Misguided Herald, because why not? It's a threat in of itself. I've not whiffed with it, luckily. And you can spend your gold, and if you put out 2 bodies, you can kind of sit back on those buys and then start to play a control game. Sea Titan, because it's amazing. Thought Plucker, again, because it's amazing. It has ambush. You resolve this. If they can't answer this within a full turn, so within their turn, within your turn, and if you get into attack with this and you get that second card, that second discard off them, the game can start turning very, very quickly. War Machine. This backs off of Zombie Apocalypse. You'll see there's also a Wave of Transformation, so War Machine does double duty here. And I just tend to see a lot more tokens. You use them to chump block, you see a bunch of stuff, and a 10-10's okay. There's Wave of Transformation. It's another board reset. It's not a board wipe, it's a board reset. And many times when they've been investing, you're going toe-to-toe, you're doing some trades, even if they end up with 4 tokens, you end up with 1 or 2. If you're taking away, say, their Kong and Avenging Angel and, let's say a Sea Titan or something, you take away some of these huge, huge impact threats. If you're playing this mid to late game, they will not see those threats again. So if you hold on to this past, probably the first 5 exchanges, this can be absolutely devastating. It can act like it does in Constructed, where it just puts away the threats. Force Major Apprentice, this was a later add. Like I saw I could add 1 more 0, and it's very serviceable, but mostly it's there just to get some extra damage on the opponent, just to keep down some of the token population. Frantic Digging, just to find more stuff. Hasty Retreat, I love this card so much. especially in limited. The number of times, obviously, this is my backup to lying in wait. The number of times you get one big attack, or especially if you had to play your gold before they did on their turn. Like let's say I did an erratic research. They're going to do a check pass, and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to spend my gold." I'm like, "Well, I'm going to get rid of your discard pile." Ah, I got you. And they come in the Juggernaut. I'm going to put the Juggernaut back in their hand. Vanishing, obviously, I just use this on my turn, so I feel kind of good for that. Warrior Golem, and this is the hand of God, honest truth. I had only this was my final 0. I had room for one more card, and I said, "Hey, I can fit in one more 0. This thing is serviceable." So this deck, if anything, let's bring it back, is more sage than anything else. I'm like, I can fit in one more 0. I'll do it. Now, my wild section, many of the golds were amazing. The zeros were not. And the trap, in my opinion, you do not want to fall into is adding in all these great gold cards, but no zeros to bounce out. Because if you're only doing one play on your turn, one play on their turn, if they can get you to spend your gold first, they can punish you. They can get back at you. This is a straight burn. This can take out, obviously, if it takes out a mid-sized champion, you get the card back, but almost always I'm using this thing to close out games. Lightning Storm, one of my favorite cards I talked about in the early episodes. The fact that you can keep bringing it back with recall, I know everyone here can read, but especially when they may not have a lot of discard hate. This card, in some games, I have brought it back to my hand 3 times. I've played it 4 times, clearing out a bunch of small wolves after a wave of transformation, clearing out zombies after zombie apocalypse, clearing out, if they, do their own board wipe and follow it up with like a 0 cost something or other, and just putting some points, chipping down their life. Life gain, while amazing, is not always the right cards to be putting into your deck. If you're not going to be running a ton of good, you might not see an inner piece. And to pick a 0, there was like this or Wolfspite. I'm sure many people say, "Oh, you should have taken Wolfspite." I like personally Fireball better because in the context of I have Wave of Transformation, I have Zombie Apocalypse. This is a great follow up to that. We all get a bunch of tokens, or even if they only get tokens, comes to my turn, spend the 1 gold, boom, sweep out all their tokens. I'm back in the game. But obviously, I can also close out the game going into their dome. I mean, it's an okay deck, and I'll bring back up just the good ones because I'll talk about them. So Avenging Angel is probably one of my favorite cards in Limited. Unanswered, this will change the tide of a game very quickly. It also baits them because, for example, let's say they had an Ice Drake, they swung at you, you go back with this, they can't attack, so their Ice Drake is there. Okay, you wait. Well, then they're gonna probe in with one guy. Well, that's where Lying in Wait comes in, or Hasty Retreat, and you're like, haha, I'm gonna get you to lose a turn on that as well. Ceasefire is just utterly amazing. This combined with, say, Hasty Retreat, because if they can only attack with one guy, they attack with one, you say no more attacks after it, and then you just bounce their guy with Hasty Retreat. I have done that in this tournament. Oh, it felt so good. It felt like I was taking 2 or 3 plays for them. It felt so good. There's the Gold Dragon. You have to learning how to use Gold Dragon, and it sounds like I'm just a noob when I say this. Learning how to use Gold Dragon is important. Example being, sometimes you'll pay your gold, put down Gold Dragon. First thing you want to do is go flying with Gold Dragon. If you have other good champions, if you read the situation, you might want to attack with those first to get the righteousness that this gives all the good champions. Then attack in with it, so if they kill it, or if they kill it in response, you can adjust your tactics. But if you just put this down, pay your gold, go slamming in, they answer you right back, you kind of wasted a Gold Dragon. There's Inherence the Meek. It's a board clear I can play on their turn. It can turn into 2 cards. It's useful at all points of the game. Palace Guard, obviously almost a 2-for-1, putting down a 6/8, which is usually more defensive than anything else. Worth noting is that right off the next card, Paros will give, because it says human champions, not human tokens. So I've had it where this will become a 7/8. I know it doesn't mean a lot, but say against an Ankylosaurus, it can block and kill an Ankylosaurus now because of Paros. Little things. So I just want to go through this. I would love to hear other people's opinions. I think I just have so many diverse ideas. And you'll notice there are very few that really have loyalty to. They're mostly... Where is it? I have War Machine has loyalty to. This works heavily off of its own faction. That has loyalty 2 for Blitz, but I mostly just use the block. And Gold Dragon wants other parts of itself, and Paris. So it might just be because I'm not relying on loyalties. I'm not holding cards back. I'm just making more optimal plays as opposed to waiting to make bigger blowout plays. So it's a little more slow. You guys can tell me what you think. Obviously, no one's really going to recreate this deck, but I've never done this good before. And yes, 3-0 is not like the grandstanding gold ticket record, but for me, it's a small achievement. So we'll catch you guys next time.